Welcome to the 78th episode of the New Ventures podcast. I'm your host, Sanjoy Sanyal, the founder of Regain Paradise, a boutique climate finance firm and a visiting fellow at the Cambridge Business School. Along with my co-host, Professor Jaideep Prabhu, we try and understand the links between climate change and food security in these series of conversations.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jaideep Prabhu. I'm a professor of marketing at Cambridge Business School. My area of research interest is innovation, more specifically frugal innovation, how to do more and better with less. And it is through that interest in frugal innovation that I have become interested in food security, climate change, and innovation in that space.
Our guest for today is Saran Song, the president of Amru Rice, a leading rice miller and an exporter from Cambodia. He's also chairman of the Cambodia Rice Federation and a co-founder of the Cambodia Agricultural Cooperative Corporation. Welcome, Saran.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjoy and Jaideep, for inviting me in the podcast show.
Thank you so much, Saran. I wanted to start by asking you about Cambodian rice. What makes it so special and why is it so popular internationally?
Cambodian rice has been well known since France, colonial Cambodia, 19th century. So been well in heart of French people where we have sent rice to French. And then we have produced jasmine rice. The jasmine rice very special aroma, very delicious, and it's been very well climate tolerant. And recently, Cambodia more focused on resilient climate change with the new of synchro fragrant rice, that new variety that more adapt to the climate can be able to survive in the hot temperatures and also in the lower temperatures at night. So the new variety can be important for Cambodian that we focus only the premium quality and more sustainable and climate resilient rice. Last but not least, Cambodia is a country producing the best quality of organic rice. So this contributes to the sustainability, climate change, and other livelihood of the farmers.
Very exciting, very interesting. Saran, you know how Asians, including South Asians like Sanjoy and me, love rice. It's like our staple. We can't imagine having a meal without rice. I'm curious to know more about this organic rice you just mentioned. Is it also very tasty, or is it more that it is sustainable and environmentally friendly?
Yes, of course. I'm also having rice 3 meals a day in breakfast and lunch, meal and dinner. So Asian, especially authentic food, like they maybe prefer those type of healthy food. So we grow the organic rice in the upland, where Cambodia have divided by three geographic: we have upland, middle, and lowland. So the geographic benefit for the organics on upland, where quality of the rain, the rice, soil, they come together, become a very unique on organic production. So the organic rice have provide nutrition because they are friendly rice growth. They have been well adopted to the trees, biodiversity, and using only the natural fertilizers, as well as well protects of, let's say, conservation of forestry, water, and nutrition. And that nutrition is coming from the soil. And it would be benefit, especially for the baby that been born and they would like to get a baby food. So Cambodian rice fit to those market. We are happy because we have a broad of the highland area that benefit for production of the organic rice throughout highlands area. We also have a good seeds because the rice, we need very high quality of seed to make a good quality of organic rice. So our team have been worked tireless with farmers to select and purify the seed at field. Doing this, farmer will get the advantage to have own seed at affordable price and maintain the sustainability of growing in the community without purchasing the seed from elsewhere. Create job in the community and also create well of the education training to other new farmers. So I would say organic rice has been play very important roles. It's not about quality, but create job, social impact, environmental impact, and also for the consumer healthy that looking on environmental friendly.
Yeah, I mean, this is nice. It is healthy. it is good for the environment, it is good for the farmer, but is it also tasty? That's the question.
Exactly, the tasty, very good nutrition. It's very tasty, sweet, and very tender when you consume it. Have very tasty, especially with quality we have grown for 5 months, not grown faster. It's naturally grown, so it make more nutrients, naturally nutrition. 5 to 6 months, cultivation.
Lovely. Saran, you've already started talking about your company's operations, but I'll go back a little bit. And your family has been in this business for a long time in the context of Cambodia's history. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, because I am DNA of farmers. So my family and my grandfather starting rice in 1960s. So we have a lot of wars, civil war locally in 1970. We had another war in 1975 that destroyed all the milling, the rice mill, warehousing system. So we're starting the new after we have peace in the country. My parent, my father, my mother start rice again. So I'm the third generation that start only for export because we believe export create more value added to the nations. We must sustain and also promote the Cambodia best flagship of rice to the world. That's my ambition. We created this company up. Exactly, we feel by Pol Pot because we are called capitalism. Because in the rural Khmer rules, you have no capitalists. You only become a farmers. So many rich people, intelligent students been killed. So only two of my family survive. And that continue the business of rice become return back to what my grandfather been doing. Yeah.
Saran, tell us a bit about what it was like for you when you were growing up. You've told us a little bit about the history, but how did you take over the family business? What was it like when you started, and how did you involve the rest of your family?
Yeah, when I was born, my parents, especially my mother, start the rice mill, a small one. So we been with the rice for until I finish my high school. Then I continue my education in Phnom Penh. Then I come back a new idea to promote and sell rice, follow with the government policy. We start a new ventures in 2011. So this only family with our family, we build from the small rice mill one, and now we have 4 rice mill, and that would grow in the 10 years. This success is coming from my mother because my mother teach us how to do business, how to run business, entrepreneurs. We supply a lot rice to the industry, consumer, restaurant, locally, and now we move more on international, but the same thing, but international model, going with the restaurants, supermarket chain, and other chain in Europe because we believe the international promotion, rice is more strategic marketing for Cambodian brand name. Yeah, I graduated from master degree in business and management at University of Management in public university, and I have 3 kids. My wife in all business, rice. So we all in rice, and my brother also start rice. So we are more rice at the moment in a family of Song. So that's the background, and we will move globally and regionally. We just try to get from the country level to become more regional and global connected player in rice.
Wonderful. You've already mentioned this. You have 4 milling factories, and you've started talking a little bit about where you work with your farmers. But just to help us get in the next phase of the podcast, just tell us, what are your operations like?
Yeah, of course, because the reason we have a lot of rice mill due to our business model called, contract farming. So at the moment, we have 4,000 farmer under organic rice. Contract farming is 4,000 household farmers. And we have another 16 household farmer growing the conventional rice. So with the Cambodian farm spread in nationwide, so we had to set up the rice mill, cover some area near the farms that closed around 50 to 60 kilometers around that rice mill. And then we create the nation rice mill throughout the country, follow the farmer that signed the contract farming with the Amru. We have some condition and goods benefit to them if they join Amru. We'll create a sustainable production of rice, good quality, safety. That procedure, especially is a premium price, would benefit their kid, the farm practices, that the market for them. That's the reason we set up for rice mill.
Saran, let me ask the next question. A big problem in the South Asian context is that it's very hard for rice farmers to stop using fertilizer and move to organic. So, how has that happened in Cambodia? What is your experience with working with farmers to maybe stop using or using less fertilizer?
Yeah, you're right. So normally when we start organic, we work 3 years. We need 3 years to convince farmer by giving them comparison between growing organic and growing conventional with using a lot of chemical and fertilizer. After 3 years, in the first time, we have only 100 farmer registers in the year one because no one want to follow us. But after 1 year, there is advantage from the project that we've been work with 100 farmer. We've seen the growth of revenue grown 40%, while the cost of production drop. I mean, cost of input drop like 10, 20%. We don't need fertilizer or something. So, well, the farmer accepted this is a new model that create them more income and that more commercialized, not just for their own security, but they want to sell by themselves at premium price. This is our case study. We have now 4,000 farmers from 100 farmers that joined us in the beginning in 2014. While in another project we call Sustainable Rice, we are not able to stop farmer putting pesticide and chemical, but we ask them to reduce 50% of the chemical fertilizers. Let's say if they have 500 kilo per hectares, we want them to stop just use only 250 kilo. Maybe 300 kilo is organic fertilizers that made from the rice husk, made from the compost and other organic fertilizer ingredient to boost their crops. Doing so, we get some benefit because at least their yield is still same or a little bit less, but the revenues, because at the end, we have the same revenue for them. But they have a lot of cost reduction, by the way. Is used drop 30% of the input from chemical and pesticide in same number of harvest, I mean the yield per hectares. So at the end, they get similar amount, even a little bit less quantity, but they get similar revenues. You are comparing with the net profit, it's not much different. So to help educate farmer, we need to be scientific proof to make sure they gain and then they understand that we do this because we're concerned about the world climate change, we're concerned about the global warming. We also want them to join in the way protect environment friendly practices and helping themselves because too much chemical exposed pesticide, it would not benefit for their health.
Couple of interesting points, but I want to make sure that we're understanding what you're saying correctly. In the organic case, you were able to establish to farmers that their profits are reasonably okay, even though their yields have fallen. That's what Jaideep and myself have always struggled to understand. That in 1 year, the yields may have fallen because they stop using fertilizers.
My point is that the rice, Cambodia soil is very fertile. And in earlier, I told you, we have very good soil. We have too much abundance of the nutrient on the soil. You don't need to apply any chemical fertilizer. You don't need. Our soil naturally been fertile. Naturally, they bring good nutrient in the soil. Second, the rice seed that we have for Cambodia, you don't need to apply chemical fertilizer because when you put too much fertilizer, the rice will drop down, be too good. So naturally, they get 3 to 4 tons per hectare, for example. So if when you apply chemical, the rice will too good and drop on the field, and then you lost a lot on a post-harvest. So it does not make sense that farmer, you add fertilizer, but you don't have the yield because the soil originally is fertile by themselves. Second, we do have some idea of growing intercrop or singham that provide natural soil fixing that also benefit for them in terms of boosting yield. But as I said, we do this only 3 to 4 years after the yield drop. Then we apply the intercrop and also soil fixing crops. So that's not effect that you say, okay, drop yield every year. No, it's really good for Cambodia and only good for this type of rice. We cannot grow organic rice with another variety. That's not benefit because they need a lot of fertilizer. Because we do 6 month crop, not to be only one time per year. So a 6 month they rest and naturally create fertility naturally to the soil. So there's not really 3 crop a year, 2 crop a year. You apply a lot of chemical to gain the yield in per hectares. But for us, just 1 crop. And during the free time, they can grow intercrop with another soybean or green mung bean forever to create more income for their family. That's the solution. So it doesn't make any yield drop at all in organic rice.
And Saran, what about water use? Because that's another big problem in South Asia, and rice is so water dependent. Do you have that problem? How do you deal with that problem?
You're right, Jed. We facing the same issue in the water. All the time when I was in the field, I observed the farmer always fighting for the waters. Everyone tried to get water to the field. So doing so is not sustained for the water for the use. Some even doing the well deep down to the ground. That also not good to in the long term run. The idea we want is we create the type of rice that mainly only required for the rain-fed. We limit of the rice that need educated, that need 3 crop per year. We should not allow this to be in Cambodia. 3 crop, you will need a lot of water. At the end, it would not sufficient for another farmer. They also need water for another crops. So we have to divide rice maximum 2 crops, and the rest hour you keep for another agriculture crops that need less water. That's our plan that to manage well and manage of the water, management of water by applying some drainage system, AWD. We also want to explore on land leveling, apply intercrop, soil fixing, that make saving water a lot by doing these practices.
That's really interesting. So again, because we are really interested in the role of climate change and sustainability here. In other countries that we have interviewed people from Indonesia, Bangladesh, of course, India, even African countries, we're seeing a lot of negative impacts of climate change. It's having a big impact. For instance, farmers may be moving away from growing paddy because of the monsoons shifting. So what are you seeing in Cambodia? What are the effects of climate change? How are you dealing with them?
Yes, in Cambodia, they are similar to the nearby country like Vietnam and Thailand. We are more likely the same. So we've seen some type of crop it dropped, a lot in terms of climate. We see, for example, some of dry crop it affected, delay the crop for 1 month or 2 months because we have no rain. To be cultivated, we need some rain in the reservoir. The delay of harvesting, it make a panic in the purchasing side. For example, Indonesia, Philippines, they need rice. They also affected. But Cambodia, we delay 1 or 2 months. So in the delay gap, it make the panic in the demand side. Well, the supply side, in generally, we just delay of harvesting. And of course, you can have some crop destroy and then replanting again. But only demand side, they need to close the gate for 2 months when the rain not come. So we have problem of delay. Second is mitigate the crop and temperature. So to mitigate this temperature change, we have to develop a new variety of rice that can grow on hot temperatures. Before we never get 40 degrees. So now we are talking about 40 degree up. Before we do things have only crop can have flower and can have a fruit only less than 40 degree temperature Celsius. Now we have 40 degrees Celsius. We need to find a new variety that can grow and flowers and yield under the temperature. Third, we also see farmers start to prepare themselves how they can address this by follow the new practices We apply on farmer, for example, we give them the fertilizers that create more soil fixings that can also tolerate even drought for 1 or 2 weeks. They still survive. So this crop is a lot of helpful in the supply chain. But whatever it adding is additional cost to the farmer. So we suffer with the increasing cost. At the same time, the consumer pay more higher price because this is the costly affected by the climate change. So we had to live on this climate contact to adapt it, and we need to spend more cost comparing to situation as normal. We faced the El Nino, something that happening last year, and now I think this year a little bit coming. But yeah, we resolved it in the country. We don't have any negative drop of the production. We have similar production, about 11.5 million tons. So that's quite similar, not much dropped. But the demand is too much. Yeah, that's made the supply chain gap for a couple months.
I wanted to understand a little bit about the variety point that you made. You said that we need new varieties for rain-fed areas. We need new varieties for rice that survives at high temperatures. Do you as a company invest in developing these varieties, or do you work with research organizations? How do these new varieties come up?
Yeah, actually, in terms of fragrant rice, we're using our expert locally and with the Ministry of Agriculture, Research Development Center to improve, to get the, we call like improvement on seed, foundation seed, research seed. Well, in the white rice, we have been cooperate with a Vietnam company, seed company, to have the Vietnam quality that been proved and been grown here and supplied back to Vietnam. That's the current system we are addressed. We are joining hand to hand with the public and private sector have to do. And rain-fed crop, our rice, we have premium like Camobodia, like premium jasmine. We also have local traditional rice that grown in Cambodia 1,000 years ago. They also show they're very high productive. So we, as a company, we try to purify those seeds and become more purified, tolerant to the climate. So we don't need to create for the rain-fed, but we just improve the existing one that have incurred in Cambodia 1,000 years ago to be more better in terms of yield, more better to the climate change, and live better in hot temperatures. That somehow we are working on. So hand to hand, we also need cooperation from the farmer to join us because we work with 1,000 farmers that join with our seed program. So that's somehow we move on, fight against climate change, multi-stakeholder approach.
I mean, of course, this public-private partnership around developing seeds. But I also wanted to go back to that point that you mentioned about health. Farmers who move to organic, we have seen in the context of South Asia, tend to show health improvement.
Health from the organic rice is contribute for the food security and nutrition. So in this context, we've been studying on how benefit of organic rice. So we've shown a lot of proof that contribute to the health. We've seen the rice more clean and good for ingredients, not just only for the steam or cook rice, but for ingredient industry use. Well, for the grower, we also been interesting because the grower before, when they apply, for example, some chemical fertilizers or pesticide, they never care about, pesticides, how to do the treatment. They just buy and apply without control. They don't care much. So now we have economists who oversee their practices. We've been work with the Ministry of Agriculture, with the expert, to educate them to use properly. If they have infestation, we don't use chemical. We apply natural approach. We apply, for example, the traditional medicine, something that can treat those pests. At the end, the rice is very tolerant. Even if pests attack them, about 1 week later, they grow back to normal life. They have a strong immune system without applying the chemical. So that show them that benefit from joining organic. They benefit for the consumer health, themselves, and also community sustainability approach in the way of their practices. We save money from applying chemical and pesticide, and also save their health, because otherwise they had to go to health check because some poison or the pesticide toxin, for example. So this is benefit by educate them to understand the growing organic will save from this, and you get out of the exposure. And if you need something, you just tell us. Then we go there to help those farmers, address the pest, soils issues. That's a lot of benefit.
And just to move away from farmers to your own milling operations, I understand that you have made a lot of efforts to reduce the environmental footprint of the milling operations themselves, the factories.
So you're right. At the company level, we have dedicated our company to become a leading in reduction of carbon footprint. So we have applied processing, change a lot of line that's saving the energy by installing the solar. We gain about 25% reduction of the consumption from the grid. We apply the system in place that ensure every processing line has been using efficiency. For example, dryer, we've been saving from 24 hours to become like 16 hours to dry paddy. So there's some type of innovation to reduce the energy costs and also the emission of carbon. While in the product line, we try to create a low carbon footprint rice that farmer can sell from the carbon market with the credit, let's say carbon credit. Farmer can get this money, and then it's another additional in revenue for the farmers. That's also part of it. And the last but not least, all our material, our line are going compliant to the environmental and social, especially to the carbon reduction. So that's been a lot investment. No, not just management level, but also down to the workers. Everyone to have the same commitment in toward carbon reduction, 10% annually. So to get this 10% annually, we put our strategic plan for 5 years to ensure we fully contribute to the United Nations on reduction of emission carbon to become a net zero by 2050 with the government policy and determination. So this, our company, we all set, we evaluate, we work with other stakeholders to ensure we are comply to the carbon practices, especially reduce the carbon from on the rice field and also at processing line and transportation.
Very interesting, sir. I'm very interested in frugal innovation. How can companies and other organizations do more with less? So it's really very exciting to hear that you are using solar, which is reducing your dependency on the grid, but also reducing emissions, and that you have such a comprehensive approach to sustainability. I wanted to also ask about partnership. Question that Sanjoy asked about seeds and research on seeds. I know that you have this relationship with the Cambodia Rice Federation and the Cambodia Agriculture Cooperative Corporation. What role do they play in helping companies like yours do more without having to spend more?
So at the moment, we ensure we have government support us. So we are, after working tireless, we get support from government. So the more important is a policy that government put in place. So it means our cost will be seen subsidized by international development partner and government. I also seen that many developing partner, Community Rice Federation, farmer cooperative, listen to us. Then they join with us. So every year we organize sustainability conference. We invite all those stakeholders to have a 2 days discussion on sustainability. This is a multi-stakeholder approach. So we cannot go alone. We have to go together with all related parties, especially growers and government and developing partner. That somehow we have been done for 3 years. And this year we did in February 2024. We also raised about low carbon footprint rice in the topic, and all agree together we had to get this low carbon footprint rice, our commitment. We assign our commitment, we do the contract farming, we walk the talk. We don't want just speak, we did. So we've been show our strong commitment. And government join, development partner join, so a lot of synergizing that have private sector, for example, Amru, one of them. We are not say we alone. We have many other company are buy-in under Company Right Federation, and we expect more and more coming. Together, we make it happen.
I mean, this example that you gave is very interesting of companies and the cooperatives coming together with the government to promote low carbon rice. Is there any other example of the outcome, shall I say, of a sustainability conference that you have been doing for the last 3 years?
Yep, that's an initiative because in terms of discussion, it need to be a multi approach. So we invite farmer, almost 200 farmer representing farmer cooperative. So we invite each 2 or 3 from one cooperative. It is one of the key learning for the practices by NGOs, by companies like us, like private sector, government. Is a platform we work on. So this is so very result. And now we have more and more government and especially developing partner come. For example, we have ADB, World Bank, IFD, many more developing partners are interested to be a part of climate change and rice production, especially sustainable rice production in Cambodia. So that would benefit us a lot in low carbon footprint rice in the 3 years we committed to have this certified.
So, Saran, again, the technology applications are very interesting to both of us. You mentioned what you're doing in your operations. Can you tell us a bit about block rice application? Is blockchain an appropriate technology in agricultural outputs, products, or is it just too expensive at the moment? And how do partnerships play a role here, like with Oxfam, for instance?
Yes, we've been piloting with Oxfam on block rice with support from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We are very successful. We gain a lot of knowledge and how tech contribute to the farmers. So digitalization at farm side, from production, milling, and export, especially connecting to the market directly, that's a big success for our project. At least we close between grower and the consumer in the market. A lot of question on traceability, integrity, pricing, and livelihood of farmer has been addressed. And at the end, we get very efficiency. I mean, for us, we reduce a lot of costs. We gain more, especially information and data from the consumer and the farmer need. We also gain on how the technology can define reduction of the carbon, income of the farmer, each farmer earn, economic benefit, and social impact after they join us. So this 3 years has been tremendous, result, and we would like to scale up. So we try to gain more donor or supporter to join, create more room for farmers. Now we have 500 farmers. We want 5,000 farmers in the block rice. We want more farmer in because this platform is very transparency.
When you say successful with 500 farmers, what is success? What is the problem that it was enabled you to solve?
We have been sold like 2,000 tons of rice on the platform of block rice, and the farmer is very happy, enjoys, and they learn about technology. They learn how digitalization from the farm time. They learn and they get knowledge until they harvest storage. So it has been confidence for consumer to ensure what they really from their farmer they show in the right box. Because there is a QR code on the rice where you can get information of the grower on the system, and very transparency. If this farmer sell how many ton, how many hectares they have, that's sort of very transparent. And at the end, those farmers can get loaned from microfinance or from the banks. That's a part of success because when you heard about farmers, it's no one easy to give them the loan. They don't know how their business, how their farming benefit them. That's why this tax, it create trust between grower, bankers, and also the buyer consumers. So short of this, success is tremendous for us because we want them to sustain, financially sustain. They can have fun to develop their project and they can enjoy and working with us happily without concerning about the market, about the input, or a long-term partnership. That's some sort of success summary again.
One of the things that while I'm speaking to you, I'm remembering of my visit in Cambodia 9 years back. And at that point of time, there was very little electricity in the rural areas. So setting up processing factories, setting up irrigation systems was pretty much out of the question. Has that changed? Or I know that the grid has expanded quite a bit in Cambodia. Do you see renewable energy? Just tell us a little bit about these changes in the last decade.
You're right. In the last 9 years, Cambodia has been well developed and invested, especially by private sector from our sea. And locally, we create a lot of hydro energy, electricity, been grid to community. I think nearly like 99% covered by grid. So there's a lot of change in the last 9-10 years. And also want to say about the new initiative about solar, about the renewable. It's still good in the context right now because this is a new option that should be benefit to the rural community, manufacturing. For example, we have rice mill, we have a lot of roof to install the solar. There's new initiatives should be applied and a good time, to apply because we've seen this benefit a lot on environment and especially on efficiency. We would like to get the idea that we can sell back the energy from the roof of the solar panel. That would be another option to create revenue to those rice millers and also farmers or community. So in conclusion, I would say it's time to come. It's time to come. We are there right now. We would like to have these initiatives coming as soon as possible.
Looking back 9 years is nice. I'll ask you to look forward 9 years or 10 maybe. And as we approach the 2035, 2040, what do you see as a vision for the Cambodian rice industry? And in particular, one question that bothers me is that are we going to see organic rice or are we going to see, as you said right at the beginning of your podcast, a variety of sustainable rice?
Yeah, in the next 10 years, we'll see a lot low carbon footprint rice. So we not feature organic rice for the commercial deal in the Cambodia brand, just 2% or 3% only. But the low carbon, that would be very low price. It's not premium like organic, able to sell in the market. So I would say 10 years from now, we have a lot of sustainable and low carbon footprint rice and would be future for Cambodia. Only jasmine rice, and organic rice, we are focused on ingredient. And for the manufacturing on baby food, that would be another market segment. So we do need to have low carbon footprint rice in the market within a couple of years to ensure our uniqueness, our quality, and our differentiate from our neighboring country, especially jasmine rice. So I would say this is our next 10 years is focus on sustainability rice, low carbon footprint rice.
Saran, thank you so much for such interesting insights and your experience in Cambodia. Do you have any questions for Sanjoy and me?
Yes, my question to you, how you can mobilize other stakeholders from Europe to join on rice research and climate change rice, or maybe a research journal, for example, to see the benefit you can get any, because I saw that you are from university, I like your profile. So you can gain some know-how like journal writing, something. I would like to get student from you or any possibility of researcher to come to and write those finding and result, together with Amru and other something. So you find it something that can do that in Cambodia?
That's a nice challenge for me, my students and colleagues. We are just starting by understanding what's happening. These podcasts are a way to understand what is going on in different parts of the world, including, of course, Asia, in important areas like rice and so on. Now, once we have that understanding, of course, then we can speak more confidently to other stakeholders. Of course, speak in different ways. We can write papers. One thing I can say to you is that my students here and my colleagues, not only in the business school, but across the university in other departments like plant sciences, biotechnology, etc., are very focused on food security issues and the link with climate change. This is a big issue because we all know that it's having impacts, that is, climate change is affecting productivity of farm yields. That will put pressure on, of course, prices and food security around the world. That, of course, will have all kinds of consequences for migration and internal security, also inter-country security. So it's a big issue. A lot of people are studying it. I'm also part of some of these research groups. So I think as we understand more, I will feed all this into those groups, and hopefully they will be able to help address this question of, for instance, raising the awareness of European consumers and ensuring that the supply chains coming into Europe of food are more sustainable and responsible.
Thank you so much, Professor Jaideep.
And if people have to get in touch with you, how should they?
Sure. My email, CEO of Amru Rice .com.kh. And my mobile, my mobile phone, 855 country code and 12303016.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Jaideep, thanks so much.